Welcome to Cyrus Says or Ji Haan. I've got a new game I want to discuss. We've got a very important person coming on right now, Mr. Rachit Chawla. I'll introduce him properly in a minute because this is a dedicated show to how to make your money grow, how to invest correctly. So listen to everything he has to say. Because I know people are always waiting for that nugget of information. छोटा सा हल्का सा small nugget of information out of which a tree will grow. That I think is how everybody thinks. He's going to correct me about that in a second. That's Rachit in a minute. But first, I want to quickly mention my new spot. I'm sharing it with the whole of India. I'm telling you, yaar, अगर आप bored है, आप कंटाल होते हैं, you have nothing to do, you're worried, irritated, pandemic. I know lockdown is less now, but still people are stuck at home for a long time. Just stand outside a lift, which is an open lift, मतलब bar वाला lift, metal bar वाला lift. जैसा in our area, all the lifts are old, so we have those bar wala lifts, and stare at people. I find the person stuck in a lift feels very uncomfortable. So I just go outside my fourth floor flat and I stare at a person, even a vendor going up and down, and I just feel really good because they feel like they're under some sort of surveillance, and they put their head down and they're looking very nervous and anxious. It's great fun. It's a real thrill for me, and I really think this game should be exploited more. And one day it should have a World Cup status. Speaking of a World Cup status, Rachit Chawla is the founder and CEO of Finway FSC, Financial Services Company, FSC, registered with RBI. He's an overachiever because I only allow those kind of people on the show. So let's welcome him onto the show. Chawla Saab, क्या हाल है? सब
Thank
ठीक है?
you.
All good? You're looking
Thank
very
you, sir.
formal.
Thank you for having me here on the show. Big fan, Cyrus. I've been watching you since I was, I think, probably 12 or 13.
So, matlab last week, basically is what you're
Yeah.
saying. because you look so young, you look hardly 21, 22, but your body of work is fantastic. Awards to both hai. Introduction dena padega. I think it should be. I can't say everything. Please forgive me. But Rachit has under his leadership, Finway has won Excellence in Financial Product Branding Award. Sir, you can give the baja in the background. You know how they go tang 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 tang. That clapping effect, jo bhi hai. Extraordinary leadership and technological skills helped Finway in winning Excellence in Artificial Intelligence and Finance Award by Indian Startup Convention and Startup Excellence Awards in 2018. So it's all recent. And also Finway won the title as Tech Company to Watch Out For. Due to your business acumen, Finway is nominated, ladies and gentlemen, among the top 50 brands by Exchange for Media. That's 50 brands, the top 50. Participated in various TV shows, obviously, and he's now on our podcast. He's been a panelist. He's the guy you go to for financial advice, and he's sweet enough not to charge us, which is quite an irony because इसमें फायदा उठाने के लिए you have to go to him, and then he doesn't take advantage of the same. Organized various CSR activities to help society, has a charitable side. If we have time, we will squeeze that in. And won BFSI Smart Tech Award 2019 and Best Indian Business Award 2020. And this is not all the awards. Because of time constraints, we had to stop it. Now, I've made him feel embarrassed, which is a great feeling. I mean, the profile is... Rachit, क्या बोलो आपके बारे में? I mean, obviously, you're the real deal. You've done the real thing. You are certified. What does it mean to be certified by Sebi exactly? That means you're like a legal analyst.
Yes. So Sebi gives out licenses. You know, when you are supposed to talk about stock market, Sebi says nobody can talk about stock market till the time we give him a license. So I'm a licensed, certified, Sebi registered investment advisor.
No, sir, तो कहने का मतलब है कि बाकी जो लोग हैं, they are not certified. I mean, on websites there are so many people out there with names and jargon. Jargon बहुत interesting चीज है. I think people just put these phrases together and they hook you, and then you start believing the myth, and then whatever. What you're saying is only a relative few people are actually it's like medicine, actually practicing medicine because they've got the certified degrees and what have you. Am I right?
So, you know, you have to pass an exam every year so that Sebi understands, okay, you are still in, you know, not gone mad and you still know your stuff. And only then the license keeps on getting renewed. And everything else is just hearsay.
Refresher course. I think we should have this for politics also. What do you think? हर 6 महीने के बाद बुलाना चाहिए सर आ जाओ. Get the mandate again. Let's see the performance. I think that some countries actually have their right to recall. I know in California, with the great Arnold Schwarzenegger or the one before him, the governor was recalled. We'll discuss that if we have time. But now we must go into, there are 2-3 things here. One, of course, I want to quickly look at your life. And I also want to ask you some advice, sir, because that's what we're all about. We're Indians. Indians में एक बहुत I think बड़ी चीज है Indian DNA में. If you know someone who can help you in some way, you immediately informally go to that. Like if we have doctor friends, if we have financial analysts, lawyer friends, we are always taking real advice which is for ourselves through them without paying for it. So I think this is a great thing having you on the podcast now. We will glorify you, tell you how great you are, give you the Padma Shri, and then you will give us some financial advice.
Oh
But
yes,
very,
with
very
pleasure.
quickly, no, Rachit, before we go there, I want to quickly talk about how you got here. You are a prodigy, 99% in the CBSE board in accountancy, which is a very rare feat. So obviously, you were born with a gift, or you work very hard, or mixture of both.
No, so I was always very inclined towards accountancy. I think it was my favorite subject. And you know what the funny part is? Because when you're passionate about something, it doesn't become boring. You know, you do it out of your passion and love for the subject. And in fact, before even I appeared for the 12th board examination, my class teacher told me that Rachit, you're so good with accounts. I'm sure you will score 100. But you know, there's a practical exam also in accounts, and nobody got 100 pan India. 99 was the highest percentage. Very happy to get that, because you know, in accounts, the debit and credit matches, and that's how you know that you have scored, completely 100 out of 100 after the exam. So it was a great feeling.
My friend Rachit Chawla, in this entire bhashan, you have said one thing which I want to use and tell people is probably the worst pickup line for a teenager. I am passionate about accounts and accountancy. No, I'm just kidding, bro. But that's really great. 99 out of 100. I mean, this is really rare. So you know you're special already when you enter the field. Let's be frank here for a second. And how did you get in? Take us to the journey. Uske baad, business and management from Aston University, Birmingham. So you traveled to UK. You did other things before you came to where you are now. Running Finway, etc. Give us a small background into kahan se kahan tak.
So, deep down, I always had my calling in financial services. I can now relate to it when I look back at my life. During the journey, I did not know that whether finance is my calling or not. But now, if I recall, in seventh standard, I remember somebody came to me and he said, "I need 50 bucks urgently." And I told him, I will give you 50 bucks now because you need it urgently, only if you give me 60 bucks tomorrow. And that guy agreed. And, I actually became the financier of the school till I was in 12th. And after 12th, of course, I went abroad to study at Aston. It was a great experience. After Aston, I went to Intel Corporation. I was the EMEA headquartered pricing analyst there. It was a fab experience just to see how a global company functions. And I think it was a part of the manifestation because I was the only Indian that got picked up in Intel. I don't know why they were not picking up Indians per se, but I was very lucky enough to be picked up in a company which I looked up to. I came back to India in 2010. I joined my dad's business, which was into logistics. So, hardcore transportation, distribution, warehousing network. Being the only child, of course, I had to support my father, and, he wanted to retire. So, for 5 years, I was managing logistics, but, I was never enjoying it. It was only for the sake of money that, you have to earn your bread and butter. So you have to wake up in the morning, go take care of your logistics business. Then in 2015, I was able to completely automate it. When people say autopilot, my business actually came on autopilot mode after 5 years of struggle. And the reason I wanted to make it on autopilot is because I wanted to take permission from my dad that, dad, see, your bread and butter is taken care. Now let me do something what I love. Let me do something out of my passion, where I would wake up in the morning with joy, and, I would love to go to the office. And the difference is drastic. He was very supportive. 2016 is when we started Finway. We went to RBI. We said, boss, hame ek license de do. I want to get into capital markets. I want to finance to people. I want to empower people financially. That was the tagline. And it wasn't about money. Even till now, it's never about money. It is about making people's life better. It is about financial inclusion. It is about literally empowering them financially so that they can take correct decision. And believe you me, Cyrus, the money comes to you. It is a beautiful side effect. If you're doing something you love and you're adding value to people's life, money is a beautiful side effect, which I mean, I am witnessing it right now. We are bootstrapped. We are growing at a great growth rate. we are at a phase where we are actually accumulating a lot of money so that we can again pump it back to the society. So that's my journey, briefly. And that's how from 7th standard till now, I mean, I have been enjoying every bits of the journey and till now.
Well, they say about successful people, Rachit, what you're saying exactly, ये जो philosophy है, कि they're not looking at the bottom line. Everywhere you read, bottom line, बहुत important चीज है, target. I have lots of friends in this kind of business growing up in Mumbai, and they're always under anxiety and stress over this whole situation. But the really successful ones like yourself, it seems, कि you guys have the thought is a little different. I don't want to say elevated, I mean, don't want to get into that space, but it's different. Because in the sense ki, I don't think you're worried really about bottom line like you just explained. You're more interested in getting. It's almost like I want to present something. I want to present something which it's more like you're a creator than you're a financier in my mind. Is this correct to say?
Absolutely. And there's a huge difference. I see people who are stuck in their job. They don't like what they're doing, but still they're doing. And then when any national holiday comes, they're very happy that, oh my God, finally some break. Whereas, this time 15th August came on a Sunday. I was telling my wife, I'm the happiest. She said, why? I said, at least there's one less holiday. I have to go to work. I enjoy it so much that I feel glad that the holidays are coming on a holiday so that no day gets wasted. That's the kind of difference. Because imagine if you love something, you love something so much that you want to be in the action every single day. So that's the kind of place everybody should be, so that they add value. And don't worry about the bottom line. If you're adding value to people's life, they are literally going to give you money. They will say, boss, take money, but add value to my life. That's how everything comes back. And your obviously money is important. We are bootstrapped, but still money should never be the core objective of doing what you're doing every day.
But tell me something. 14th August, तूने stock किया दारू या नहीं?
No, I don't drink. So
You don't drink, but you provide
I
drinks
don't
in a
drink.
sense.
Yeah.
In a sense. Okay, good thing to know. No, but the whole point here is that, and I find this really fascinating about the people who achieve things and change society. It's always more than just thinking about the exact change that's coming into the pocket. It's much more than that, obviously. And I think you, without realizing it, sometimes you are on that path from childhood. Let's go quickly now into a few pointers. I think that if this was a live session, people would be asking you, and I'm sure people ask you when they meet you at the gym or at social occasions and wherever you go. First and foremost, आपने बताया कि pandemic के time में you have done well. This is correct, right? Can you
Yes.
tell us how does one do well when the economy is going in the reverse direction and when people are basically scared, that fear is there? How do some businesses beyond say pharma, which obviously will do well, how do you retain that positive intent and do well against the tide?
So, there were a lot of projects which I have always wanted to do in life, but I was not getting the time. My bandwidth was choked. I remember the first day of the lockdown, around 22nd, 23rd March. I was sitting in my shorts, and the only thing which was open was the stock markets. And I have been involved in the stock market since last 10 years. So I called my CTO and I told him that, boss, I think lockdown will go on for 2-3 months. Why don't we do something? He said, sir, I'm also sitting at my house. What do you want me to do? I told him, let's get the best virtual tech team pan India. It doesn't matter now whether the guy is staying in Bangalore or whether the guy is staying in Jaipur. Let's get them onboarded and let's create something beautiful so that the people of India can actually make money from the stock markets automatically sitting at home. And he said, how do you plan to do that? I said, see, I am, a stock trader and I do systematic trading since last 10 years. I have certain algorithms that do well, very well in my demat account. So why don't we make a product wherein the money stays with me in my demat account, but any consumer can go online to my website or my mobile app, attach the API for my product to his demat, and the system starts to take trade on his demat so that he has complete control of his money. He doesn't have to give money to anybody. The money is in his demat account, and still through APIs we take care of everything. He told me that, boss, it looks impossible. I said, okay, fine, we have time. Amuse me. Let's try and do something out of it. Luckily, we were able to do partnerships with two very big brokerage houses, which is IIFL and Zerodha. Zerodha is like India's biggest, and IIFL is also one of the biggest in India. They were very kind enough to give me their APIs. We managed to launch a product called AlphaBot, which the tagline says trading emotion free. That means people who are looking to make money, they can simply use our API, subscribe to strategies, and instantly they start making short term money, complete control with stop losses in place. Because in stock trading, it gets very emotional. You try to exit very quickly when you are making small amount of profit, but when it comes
Correct.
to losses, you sit back and relax, and you lose a lot of money. So we tried to automate it. And on the parallel side, Finway, which is into marketing of loans, all sorts of lending products, we actually tied up digitally with a lot of people, and we launched a product called FLAP, which stands for Finway Loan Assist for Partners, wherein we said, pandemic, difficult time, everybody is looking to make some money. Why don't you download our mobile app, put in leads, we process every single thing for you, and still you earn money. Right now, with those products, we have more than 5,000 agent base pan India, and it's the pandemic that has taken instantly us across India. Earlier, we were only a player in North region, and this
Right.
pandemic was a blessing in disguise for us. And now we have franchisees. I think probably we have grown 4x, 5x since pandemic level.
Wow.
When it
4x,
comes to
5x.
valuation, yeah, and when it comes to valuation, we have grown even more, because we have got certain IPs, which is totally proprietary, totally belonging to the Finway brand, which adds a lot of value to everybody, right? Because those things are never going to go obsolete. Those are patented, copyright, good IP stuff, which we were able to create out of, I would say, boredom, and out of trying to do something rather than just sitting back and relaxing.
Yeah, but even fire was invented through boredom, from what we are told by our ancestors, the trial and error. But I just want to understand what you're saying, Rachit, is that you are open, your personal portfolio, in a sense, you are opening and saying, ki, I join this app and you're following me. You're following Rachit Chawla. You're not just following my advice. Is that right?
Yes. So a lot of people are advising Pan India. Believe you me, they give an asterisk saying education purpose only, because I feel, and no disrespect to anybody, I feel they are not able to make money themselves. Then how can they make money for consumers? Whereas what I
Great point.
say, my entire money is in AlphaBot. I am making money for myself. Why don't you also join me? Same algorithm, same systematic trading, same APIs. Why don't you also start making money with me? So education is one thing, and doing it action, on ground level, that is what is needed by people, not advice.
Sir, क्या confidence है? That's fantastic. I'm just thinking, why don't people think like that? Actually, not just in finance. You look at a guy who's trying to get into shape, and the guy who instructs you, he's got a big stomach. I'm thinking something. I
Exactly.
went to buy supplements, and the guy there is like really old and fat, and it doesn't make any sense. So what you're saying makes absolute sense. You're following Rajat Chawla's way. You're not following what he's saying. You're following him literally. So I think this will. Are you? So generally speaking, a financial analyst, I mean, we have a couple, and I don't know whether they put their stocks in the stocks that they tell me to put in. I'm going to start this argument right now after I finish this podcast. Okay, great to know. So again, against the tide, making money, very interesting. Let's quickly look at, if we can, a couple of things, questions that you'll probably get all the time. But before that, I think you wanted to tell us offline. We had discussed your mentor, or let's say one of the guys you look up to, who's Warren Buffett, and you were saying his philosophy is like a guideline for you.
Yes, so I have read almost all possible books of for Warren Buffett, as well as Warren Buffett's mentor, which was Benjamin Graham. I would request people watching this podcast to actually read certain books, and their life can change. I mean, creating wealth is not difficult. 30 years, if you have a work horizon of 30 years, If you even invest like 25,000 rupees every month in index, or maybe 20,000, after 30 years you will have a corpus running into, crores of rupees, probably north of 50 crores. But
Wow.
how many people are able to create 50 crores when they retire? Negligible. They don't have to do anything. It is so simple. So Benjamin Graham has a book which is Simple Investing and Investors for Beginners. I mean, you read those books, it opens your mind. In fact, in a country like India, where GDP is growing close to 7-8%, and inflation is growing close to 4-5% year on year on an average in the long term, your money can actually grow by 12-13% easily per annum. But what people do is, people are looking for action. They always want instant gratification. If you want action, instant gratification, take 5% of your money, of your surplus money, and go to Vegas or go to Goa, do casino. Don't use stock markets for gambling. It is a very long term wealth creation tool that you have got just by the virtue of being born in India. So I would request everybody to utilize it, because 12-13% compounded over a longer period of time will give you crazy returns. It's going to actually give you 10x in 15 years. So that's how easy it is to make money. Just be disciplined. And I understand, everybody would want to buy Bitcoin. So take out
I was just
5%.
going to ask you. Huh?
So take out 5%, because Bitcoin is so volatile. Don't invest everything in it. I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm saying the maximum chunk of money should be in creating wealth, and 5-10% here and there, whatever wish you want, whatever experiments you want to do with your money, however you want to burn your money, you have my blessings, do it. But 90% should actually go in the stock markets of the Indian economy, where you will be able to create good amount of wealth in the long term.
This is like in the old days when they used to have 5 and 6 children, because चार पांच को educate कर सकते हैं और उसके बाद you don't care about the last one. You're like, oh, he's a faltu anyway, he'll do something or the other with his life. You're saying
Yes.
5-10% you can punt. Is that the right word? Punt or bet with 5-10%, and nothing will change in your life drastically. But you have to have a basic plan. I'm going back to your numbers, sir. 30 into 25,000 rupees a month over 30 years. Give or take, supposing you were starting with 10,000 a month or whatever, and then towards the end you're reaching 50-60,000, so it averages out to 25,000. I'm thinking over 30 years, you're saying can clear 50C in what's left for your last years of your life.
So I will tell you the exact figure, because I've got this calculator in front of me. So actually, you will be able to get exactly 18 crores rupees in 30 years by just investing 25,000, and that I'm being conservative. It does not include dividends. So if you include dividends, this 17 will actually go back to 73 crores. The power of compounding over 30 years. All the companies which are in Nifty index, they give good dividends. All you have to do is whatever dividend you get, invest it back. Imagine just 25,000 a month can help you create so much wealth. But I don't know how many people have the discipline to do it dedicatedly. I'll give you an example, Cyrus. There was a gym instructor I had, a great guy. He met me in 2018. I told him, boss, don't do anything. Just open a SIP in an index fund. Do not give commission to anybody. Open an index fund SIP in direct mode, so that even whatever dividend you are getting, you will be able to deploy it back. 2018, he continuously invested 10,000 every month. 2020 March, the crash happened. He called me. He said, "Boss, I'm gone. My entire wealth is, gone by 30%. What do I do?" I said, "Boss, if you walk into a store and you like a pair of shoes and it's for 20,000 bucks, but later on the same pair of shoes you are able to get at 10,000, what are you going to do?" He actually paused. He said, "Of course, I'm going to buy it." So I told him, "Boss, the Indian market has crashed. Nifty index is at 7,500. You were okay to buy it at 15,000, but you're not okay to buy it at 7,500. What kind of theory is that?" He took my advice. he doubled his SIP because he was also excited that, okay, fine, the index is at 7,500. Right now, literally, he's saying there's no looking back. I have tripled my wealth. I have so much money that I had never imagined. Now I will continue putting in 10,000 rupees. And this is the kind of value that every Indian should have. I mean, the index, the Indian economy is here to stay. It's not going anywhere for
Wow.
the
Actually,
long
they're
term.
like a breath of fresh air. Half the people in the lockdown have told us only bad things and said, stick with this, stick with that. Amazing, your philosophy and positivity. Or ek aur baat, does the commission go to Chawla Saab also? Or this
No,
is
no,
just
no.
a friend who was in
So
the
no
training you in a
commission.
gym? Oh,
So
fantastic.
no
So
commission
you're
for
like,
me.
you're, we are
My
like your
motto
NGO.
is, sorry.
We are like your NGO, I'm saying. All the people
No,
around you.
so this is not my main source of income. My source of income is when that gym guy wants any kind of loan, I will process it for him and I will charge the financial institutions. That's how we earn.
So you hooked him, and now you will book him also in a little while. But fabulous stories. We have little time. I want to try and get two, three of these common questions asked. Firstly, digital investments. It's no longer a new thing, I suppose. But is it a boon for India's generation? Why?
Definitely. I spoke about an SIP. I remember 12 years back when I was doing SIP, I had to fill in a big form. Then I had to submit the form physically to a probably some broker
Ridiculous.
who
Yeah.
will process
Uh,
the mutual fund investment. After 2 days, I used to get it. But now, download an app, click
5
of a
minutes.
button. Matlab, not even five. They take your KYC and that's it. You click, the money gets deducted. You have all the mutual funds available. Click of a button. You can choose. Plus the awareness. Cyrus, when I was 22, 23, there was hardly any awareness. So I had to search a lot and I have to, invest a lot of time before taking a decision. Nowadays, you go to websites like valueresearchonline.com or Money Control and you get all the possible details you wanted. You have peer comparisons, you have the fund objectives, you have data about the fund manager's historical performance, every single thing on tip of a button. So investing has become really easy. I think it's a great boom for the youngsters, for the millennials especially, because 30 years down the line, the struggles we have made, they will never understand because everything is actually given to them on the platter. I remember I used to study financial statements of companies. I used to print out like 100 pages, underline all the data, then summarize it. And now 2021, you have websites like Morningstar and Screener.in which directly gives you a summarized version where how much debt the company has, what is the ROI of the company, what is the price earning ratio, what is the ROC of the company. It's become so easy. So
Yeah.
I
So
think it's a great place to be in for millennials. I mean, everything is available on their fingertips.
also, you don't really have to know anything because you're just taking the information
Yeah.
out. So it's literally like you don't have to be the expert. Like in the old days, I think we would listen to different people and that would all go in your head, and then you actually lead to confusion because everybody would give advice, and sometimes the advice would be cross-cutting advice. But here, you can go yourself and just filter it properly, and then without having knowledge, just following what is written there, investing in what you think would be the right thing to do. But I
Man,
want
that's
to.
a very important point, Cyrus, which you raised. Now, everybody should have their own vision, their own goal, rather than looking at the neighbor buying a new car and thinking, oh my God, his IQ is half of mine. How is he buying a car and taking wrong decision just so that to beat him?
That's correct, actually. It's so we really get like that complexed about क्या was it सफलता कहाँ से आता है साले he was last in class and today first in the parking lot. Yeah.
Yes, everybody's journey is different. You need to respect that. And it's okay to reach late as long as you are reaching your destination.
Correct. Yeah. Is it okay to call up Nirmala Sitharaman ji and ask her for advice, or it's a waste of time?
She won't answer you back any which way.
All right. The one big question, I know there's no real answer to this question. I mean, these generic questions are the most difficult, even for a real expert like yourself. But if you had to divide a portfolio, financial portfolio today, 2021, post second pandemic, or your third pandemic chance bhi hai shayad. So we are expecting, I don't know whether people are saying volatility, then it'll go up, it'll go down. The whole year will be like that. So how to divide for a newcomer, how to divide a financial portfolio? Is there a proper proportionate division that you think you should follow, like a formula?
So, Cyrus, I'll give you a very simple answer to this, and this is especially for investors who are new. So that's why I have to like decode and make it very simple. So there are two kind of mutual funds that are available in the market. One is the index fund. Index fund means it's the replica of Nifty 50. Whatever stocks in Nifty 50, it will replicate your portfolio. And if some company, and Nifty 50 are the top 50 companies of India, so they are the economy drivers. Suppose if there is one company which is not performing well out of the top 50, it automatically gets chucked out of the index, and the 51st company becomes a part of the index. So blindly you follow Nifty index investments. Now answering to your question that the stock markets are picking out, what I would suggest my friends and family is you make two SIPs. One is for the Nifty index, which is purely equity, which has a lot of risk in it depending on the market volatility. And one SIP in liquid. Liquid will give you 6 to 7% return per annum. You divide your investments into two parts. Now, suppose from here, the market keeps on going high and high. The 50% that you have invested will give you great returns. So, your investment is taken care and you get 6% from your liquid investment. Now, suppose the market crashes from here, your equity will bleed. But believe you me, that investment is into the top 50 companies of India. So over a longer period of time, the same companies will start doing well. But you dump the entire liquid at the time of crash to the equity Nifty index. That way you have got the best averaging ever. You don't need to do liquid because the market has already crashed. Then automatically the equity that you are buying is at a lower valuation and a lower price. So that way you have sort of hedged yourself. So this is a very simple advice. Divide it. You never know, markets are going to go up or down. It's better to divide. It's better to have two SIPs in place so that at the time of crash, because see, Nifty is nothing but a barometer of economy. When a crash happens, it is bound that you are in a bad shape. That's the reason there's a lot of selling off. That's the reason market is crashing. So it is unlikely that you will have a lot of bank balance when the crash happens, because the crash is happening just because people don't have money. That moment of time, the liquid funds comes very handy. You will be the rare ones to have a lot of money in the liquid, which is parked free, and you can invest back in equity. Because trust me, when the crash comes, everybody will be suffering. Nobody will be having money in their bank accounts. Everybody will be bleeding together. So that
No.
is my simple
The
advice.
moral of the story is, if things go bad, buy more. Am I right?
Buy more. Yes. But you should have enough money to buy more at that point
Fair
of time.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. One last question, because we have to take a break. I think we've gone well over time. Um, a personal or gold loan. Here are 6 things before opting it. How important are things like what is a gold loan in the first place?
So gold loan is, suppose you are looking to borrow money from financial institution. Financial institution will say, how will you give it back to me? You say, I am going to give it back to you, but they ask for security that tomorrow if you don't go give back to me,
Acha,
then what
okay,
will I do?
okay. Huh.
Then you mortgage your gold.
Gold
You say,
against it,
this is
yeah.
my gold. It has a certain value. You keep it with yourself,
While your
and when
wife
I
is sleeping, while your wife is sleeping, you mortgage the gold. Hai. Such batao, sir. You get one thappar when you
yeah,
get back home. So this is done. This is a popular way of safeguarding for
very
the loan.
popular. Right now, it's become very popular.
Right.
Because it's
Okay.
very easy. I mean, you get money in few minutes. You walk into any gold loan outlet, you give your gold loan, they do some checks, and they give you money in your hand. So it's become very efficient.
Rajit, I just hope ki Neeraj Chopra doesn't give up his gold. I hope the government takes care of him here after all that hard work. We'll take a quick break because we are well over time, but we are quickly bringing in Silvery. The break is as short as the market is volatile. One last question I'll ask you as you go into break. You've seen 2 years of pandemic, sort of 2 years almost, and we had a really good time of it in the middle, right? The markets went up and everything went well and all that. It's making no sense sometimes also. So, are you someone who is you don't seem to be bothered? Not that's not the right word. You don't seem to be affected by events outside the financial world, while everybody else, I think we overreact. Are we overreacting to the politics, to the geography situation, to the pandemic?
See, personally, I thought the second wave was far more dangerous than the first one. As far as economy is concerned, I feel India has bounced back very quickly. I mean, the kind of vaccination drives it's happening, it's amazing. I mean, hats off to the government. They were able to pull off COVID very, very quickly. But a lot of people, especially people who did not fight back enough, or people who were not able to innovate themselves, or people probably who were not very, their businesses were not agile enough, they have suffered, and that's the reality of life. The COVID has acted very difficult to a lot of people, but not so difficult to a lot of people. So it's all about being in the right mindset. I feel mindset is the key to performance. If you look at the bad things will happen to you. If you look at the good things, automatically the universe will manifest itself and give you the good things on platter. So I'm a big believer of thinking good, thinking positive, and good will happen. So
So, is it correct to
difficult
say
times.
Rachit Chawla's कहने का मतलब in this thing is also कि if you have a business which gets affected, as you say, not agile enough, like say restaurant business affected very badly during pandemic, beyond your control, all the things that you have to invest side by side in a very robust manner, because that in some way you can always cover your losses through good investments. Is that correct to say?
Yes, so always think, there's a term called Zen living. Always think that this has happened to me, but what is good in it that has happened to me? Just take out the good from it and just turn it around, and really it works, rather than crying. Because see, you are part of a bigger system, right? If the entire system is in pandemic and affected, crying will not help. I mean, how will it help you? You are a part of the bigger economy. But if thinking that how I can utilize this time, whatever is happening will happen. You cannot change it. You cannot become a superhero and say I am going to remove pandemic single-handedly. It's not going to happen. Rather, you look for opportunities. What are the kind of opportunities I have at this point in time? What can I do? And read a lot of books. I'll tell you, there's so much good stuff in books. I mean, I am a big believer of reading books. I read books almost once. One book I finish in 15 days. But the kind of insights you get, it's next level. Cyrus, there are so many good, amazing people who have given their life's experience in a small 100-page book, and you have to really read every single line to understand the kind of stuff they have seen in their life, and it is very enlightening. So I mean, do that and your mindset changes.
I am writing to the Prime Minister right now to put you in the cabinet. I feel you're very positive and highly motivational. And I don't know if you realize it, Rachit, but you're a philosopher more than anything
Oh,
else.
thank you,
Listening
Cyrus.
to you
And
talk,
Cyrus,
uh,
I'll tell you a very funny thing. I'm a big fan of yours
oh
since,
God.
I mean, I was 12, 13. I loved your shows. I've seen you like 1,000 shows of yours. I did not know you will be anchoring me. Nobody told me. And I was like, my God, this is Cyrus Parocha. So, it is manifestation coming true for me.
this
Being
was a
interviewed,
this was
being
a good
interviewed
investment.
by a person you look up to. It's a
Uh,
great, great achievement for me.
my God. I think your achievements completely outweigh mine. Ours is a very shallow industry. But I really like your philosophy, the way you're talking about, trying to provide ideas, thoughts, and positivity for people. And you're like a motivational speaker for me. We have had financial analysts on, and they're very good at what they say. But I think your entire attitude is very good during the pandemic for not just India, but for people around the world to hear people like you speak, who completely, it reminds me of Sir Francis Drake fighting those battles in the Armada. I don't know if you remember this. There's a very famous story. The Spanish are invading Great Britain, and he's playing snooker or some version of that game. And they tell him, "Ki, sir, they are attacking. The ships are closing on the harbor." And he said, "Let me finish. There's enough time to defeat them." That
Yeah.
coolness and
Yeah.
confidence that statement gave, and then everybody felt very
Yes.
reassured, and then they did defeat
Yes.
them without
And
rushing.
I and with that kind of attitude, you are able to defeat him. But if you are
Correct.
under pressure, tremendous pressure, you will not be able to do anything because it again goes back to your mindset. Your mind will not work. You will not be innovative. You always have to be in a good frame of mind. See, I see a lot of people saying there is lack of trust when you're doing business transactions. I have also been cheated the same way other people have got cheated. But that doesn't mean that, if I've got cheated, every single person I meet is a cheater. There's a trust factor, but then you have your circles. And, breakdowns are very important for breakthroughs. I'm a strong believer that don't have negative belief systems. If one guy has cheated you, it's his problem. It's not your problem. So don't carry your life thinking that everybody else will cheat you. And same is for stock markets. If you lost money, probably you did not put a stop loss. It's not that stock market is gambling, boss. It's your problem. You did not do your exercise. You did not study well before entering. And I see a lot of people telling their, children, beta stock market, no, never, never.
Yeah,
How
lots
do
say
you
that.
create wealth? I am telling you, Cyrus, you cannot create wealth till the time you don't invest in stock markets. The government pension fund is invested in stock markets. How can you say it's gambling? If it's gambling, why will government invest their
Because
pension fund
एक
in the stock market?
perennial big bull का डर है ना. एक बार नहीं, दो बार तो हो चुका है, at least in my lifetime. So I'm thinking people, that negativity is there also because of things like that. Do they manipulate the market? Is there mafia that manipulates the market? Do the top companies manipulate the market? So आम आदमी sometimes feels कि भरोसा नहीं है इसमें, and I'm always feeling victimized. But I get what you're saying. That's a negative way of thinking, firstly, and there will always be negative factors also. But we have to push them aside and come forward. So I'm
Absolutely.
going to support you for Prime Minister. I forget Finance Minister. You are the next PM now. I've already decided. Okay, listen, we are really running out of time. Let's get Silvery. Silvery ji, आके भाग गया बीच में.
Hello,
Silvery,
hello,
come
hi,
back.
namaste, namaste, namaste,
Come back.
namaste.
The break is over. He's also crazy about finance. Antarik's pet name is Silvery. He's also Rachit. He's a comedian, but he's crazy about money.
No,
I
don't
don't know
say
why I
that.
said that. That sounds bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he's also Bitcoin. I know you just touched on Bitcoin, but he's one of these guys, and I'm wondering whether because his generation, you're talking about gratification, instant gratification. I think it's with each generation is more. कि अब भी होना चाहिए because it's the T20 culture, whatever you want to call it, it has to be faster than even we are patient compared to them. So what would you say to him? Because he's crazy about the Bitcoin thing, and they're always looking for the newest player in the market. In a sense, that's being positive, is it not?
So, I mean, Bitcoin is great. It has earned a lot of money to a lot of people, but still, I don't see value in the underlying asset. So, my 5% capital is in Bitcoin right now. I don't know whether that 5% will go zero or that 5% will get equivalent to my 95% wealth. Either ways, I am okay. So I am in a no risk zone. And I would suggest you to do the same. It's always fine to invest in some things which you don't understand, but invest only that part that you're okay to even if you lose every single thing. So Bitcoin is like the millennials thing. I still don't understand how a currency in 2013 was $1 is now $44,000. I am still not able to understand it.
And if you don't
But
understand, think of us, Rachit. We so don't even come close to understanding. I can't have a conversation about it. If I was trying to sell the idea, I can't explain it to anyone.
yes, but my understanding shouldn't stop you for becoming rich in Bitcoin. So that's why invest 5%. Doesn't matter what I understand or what I don't understand or what you understand, what you don't understand. As long as you are mitigating your risk very well, all investments will pay you off. Cyrus just mentioned there were, two bulls and the stock markets crashed. A lot of people made money during those stock market crash also
That's
because they
true.
were able to mitigate their risk. only and only mitigate your risk, and every single investment will pay you off. So that is my say into bitcoins.
Salary 5% होगा इससे कम ना?
I think it'll be my net worth more than 5% of my what I have is in Bitcoin right
But
now.
you're
I
not
believe.
taking your net worth seriously right now. That's the other thing,
Yeah,
na?
I'm not.
जब तक
Yeah,
शादी
no,
वादी
I'm
नहीं
not.
किया तो it's just money to
Exactly.
spend. So I
Exactly.
don't.
Exactly.
The perspective is different. What he's saying is
Yeah.
when you're putting 100 rupees aside, out of which you can only afford to give 5% into this one unknown market. But again, I think Rachit, what you're saying is never say no.
Never
You
say
know,
no. Be open to ideas. I mean,
Hmm.
don't block yourself. It's okay. I mean, I'm a follower of Warren Buffett. He said
Hmm.
no to Bitcoin. Still, I invested 5% because, I mean, your option, you should not have FOMO, fear of missing out. You should always invest something so that you get a piece of the action. And that amount should be so negligible that it doesn't matter to you. And to be honest, right now, Bitcoin is doing well for me. And that's the
Yep.
irony of life. So, I mean, it's crazy the way Bitcoin is rising up
so will Rachit
from.
Chawla go from 5% to 10% फिर?
No, no,
Uh,
I
after
never
say
go.
1 year, is you'll
I
not
never,
increase the.
I will never raise it, even if that asset class is working well. I will only invest 5% because, in the long run, I want to create wealth. I'm okay to go slow, but I don't want to get out of the race. I am okay to reach that point at 80 years old. That's fine. But I don't want to invest into very volatile assets which I don't understand and then get out of the race, because see, every single investment is too emotional, and emotion gets triggered when you don't know your subject. In stock markets, I know the companies inside out. I know the promoters, I know their theory, I know their mindsets, I know everything. So even if tomorrow there's a crash, I would not react because I have high conviction. But tomorrow if Bitcoin crashes, Cyrus, I will be the first one to exit, and I will be very emotional. So that's why I can't increase more than 5%.
Hmm.
And 5%, of course, is just a figure you're saying. It's not actually 5%. Is it actually 5%? Matlab ki what you think is a fair, insignificant amount at which doesn't trouble you. It could be 3%, it could be 8%. It's not actually
So
5%.
5 should be the highest. You
Oh,
should
okay.
not go above 5%. Investing into something which you don't know about gets very risky. So
Hmm.
5% is the maximum, I'm saying.
Okay. Silvery, I hope you've been paying attention. Huh? His
Yeah. Yeah.
claim 30 years of 25,000 rupees averaging out, which is not an impossible task for any middle class
Yep.
income, and giving you an
Yeah.
average of 18 crores without dividends after 30 years.
Without
And
dividends.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there will be some. There has to be some in such a period of time. So it's actually a lot more than that. We won't get into what the final figure is, but imagine around the 20 crore mark. That's some serious money without any hardcore investing.
Yep.
Just think
That's very
about
true.
it.
Yep. Correct.
So no need for
Wow.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin को क्या करता है ये lottery के साथ?
I know. I know. I know. I have to change
हर
my
महीना मेरा
investment
घर पे आ जाओ.
philosophy.
Give me the 25,000 and I'll take care of you. Right, Rachit?
Okay.
That's what it means. Okay, cool. Chalo, shall we get on with the AMAs?
Yes.
Or
Yes. There are tons of questions.
I'm
There are
sure
tons of
everybody
questions
will
about
try
it.
to
Yes. Yes.
vasoolify the guy when he comes there. And he's been so positive. For the live chat, I'm getting scared because he's so positive. Everyone thinking, yes, aa gaya. Finally a man I can trust. And then, go
Yeah.
on, go on.
All right. The first one comes in from Bruce Wayne. It's a billionaire asking questions here. He says, COVID has destroyed economic growth. How are stock markets still at an all-time high? Once the Fed stop pumping in money because of inflation, it will come crumbling down. What are your thoughts?
So stock markets, as I said, is a barometer of economy, and it's always future driven. It is nothing to do with the current state. When the crash happened in March 2020, they were looking at the next 3-4 months, which is going to be bad for the economy, and that's why it crashed. But soon it was a V-shaped recovery, and it's still growing. I think it's at all-time high right now. I feel future is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Feds might continue to pump in money, and the markets might continue to go up, or Feds might stop. You don't know. It's out of your control. But what I strongly suggest is you have to believe in Indian economy. You have to believe that the top 50 companies of India will continue to grow, and that's how you invest. Don't invest short term. If you're investing short term, the level of risk will be very high. But you invest for the longer term, automatically you are risk averse. Stock market will crash, you average it out, you buy more, because you are actually buying a product which is a non-perishable. The shares will not go anywhere. Secondly, it has got amazing intrinsic value. You are becoming owners of the top of 50 companies of India. Thirdly, Indian economy, no matter what, tomorrow will be better than today. And this is, and I'll tell you, this is a fact of life. Tomorrow will always be more comfortable than today. Like, you never had Swiggy, Zomato, but now you have them and they have made your life easier. So is true for everything you do. Keeping that in mind, you have to continue your investing. Don't see the volatility, don't see the ups and downs of stock markets. Believe in the economy and invest always for the longer period of time.
Let's say this positive style that you have, is it also because of the books you read? Is it Warren Buffett? Who? I'm just trying to figure out. I've never met someone like you in this business who's so
Oh,
clear,
right.
and you're very clear. You're not like a fraud of any kind. You're very clear. This is you. But I think it's a very good advertisement for Indian economy and for investing when people like you, who are top of the heap, are talking about things in a very normal, rational way. It's not like you're Navjot Singh Sidhu at one of those comedy contests. So is it the books? Is it Warren Buffett?
So it's definitely the books. See, your perspective and your mindset gets wired in when you read books. That's for sure. So I give
Wow.
full credit to, I think, healthy lifestyle and books, and being with the right people. So I'm a part of Rise's Accelerator, which has got 30 amazing entrepreneurs, and we meet every Monday morning at 6 a.m. to brainstorm for 4 hours about the entire week. So
This
that
is not
gives you a lot of, it's like an injection of positivity.
Silvery. The only way you can meet these guys is coming home at 6 in the morning. You stop and
Yeah,
join them. Yeah.
yeah, correct, correct. Not getting up at 6.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, yeah, he's on another level, no doubt about that. All right, let's try and get a couple more questions in if we can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Next one comes in from Joyshri Chatterjee. She asks, "What is your opinion on algorithm-based selection of funds for selecting mutual funds?"
I think you mentioned that a
So
little bit.
I am running an algo based company called AlphaBot. I feel in US the market has gone 99% algo driven. India, it's a new technology, but with the new brokers, with the new discount brokers and the kind of technology they are coming, ultimately most of the bigger brokerage houses will also shift to algo, because algos are more efficient than manual systems. However, whenever you invest, go to valueresearchonline.com or Money Control. Do study the fund objective and the rationale, so that you and the fund is at this and align well with each other and at the same page, and then invest. Don't invest blindly. Don't go by the word. See peer comparison. It is just available at the click of a button. Do your due diligence, because you might have different objectives as compared to the fund that you are selecting. So ensure that your objectives are well in line, and then take a rational decisions. I am not against algo. In fact, I am pro algo.
But I don't know, Chawla Sahab, you said ki Warren Buffett and even you are saying ki don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it. That's one of the problems we have with people who like myself and Silvery, who don't have enough knowledge. We're always thinking more and thinking more. But at the same time, you're saying we should do our own research. The algorithm, the whole idea is that I don't have to do my own research in a sense.
No, so every algo fund, see, there's a difference. When I say don't think, is when I'm asking you to invest in the index fund. For index fund, you don't have to think. There is no peer comparison. You are actually betting on Indian economy by replicating an index. So your brain has to be at absolutely zero level and just invest blindly. But the question that came to us is very specific. So that lady probably has done some research already. She's already thought about algorithmic trading. As I said, there is no saying no for anything. You should always be open to whatever investments you want to make, just be cautious. When it comes to index fund, I'm saying don't even be cautious. आप सब कुछ लगा दो. It will
Okay,
never become zero.
so the top 50 in Nifty, that's the key. Okay, got it.
Yes. So Nifty index fund is, you don't have to study, you don't have to do any research, you don't have to do anything for Nifty index. It is an automated replica of the index.
Silvery, are you learning something? This is for your generation. I am already too old.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
Index fund right after this. This is all my money.
Bolo, chalo.
Alright.
Next question, please.
Next one comes in from Prithvi. He or she says, "This is perhaps the best Cyrus podcast." Question for Rachit: any advice on investments for middle-aged or older seniors who have never invested correctly ever?
Yeah,
See,
that
again,
first experience.
So for middle age, I would still feel, if you have a 15 years horizon, you divide yourself into three parts. So 33% goes in index, which can never go wrong. 33% goes into liquid. So when I say liquid, that means in case the market crashes, you transfer the liquid amount to the main
Which you
index.
mentioned. Correct.
And the 33%, I'll give you a very good idea, and I tell this to everybody. Look out for debt-free companies. There are a lot of companies which are debt-free. And if you see the companies which have gone burst in the past, which has eroded market capital and share value completely, are the companies which were heavily in debt. Invest into stocks of high quality debt-free company, and you will never face any repercussions. Always after 3 months, just see whether the company has increased the debt. If the company has increased the debt, just go out. Don't be in that company. You be always a part of debt-free companies, and your portfolio will continue to grow, because those are the kind of companies which are generating a lot of cash. They have so much cash that they will either give you dividend, or they will announce a share buyback, or they will invest into a capex which will generate more revenues, more profitability. So it's like a cycle. I mean, there are companies like Hero Motocorp, there are companies like TCS, amazing companies, amazing growth histories. But one thing they don't have is debt. So I think, for older seniors who wants to take action of the stock markets, but they have never invested correctly, one thumb of rule: invest only in quality stocks which do not have debt. I'm not saying debt is bad. I'm just saying it's a very easy mechanism to see whether your amount of money you're investing is safe or not.
Also, the question is, never invested correctly. I feel ki people don't meet you. They don't have the right investors to talk to sometimes. And I think your whole style is very different. And what happens is, ek baar, do baar, teen baar, you just don't get good results. And then you this negativity happens, which generations listen to. Ki your
So
stock market is a lottery.
I'll give you an example. We talk about SIP, and I always talk about index fund. Now, suppose you have an SIP in a company like Kingfisher. What will happen to you? And then you will see,
Sir, you're the complete podcaster. You're providing the humor as well as the relief financially. Go on.
So, I mean, you need to at least do some research rather than depending on hearsay. How can you feel that Kingfisher will be a growth story of India without looking at how much debt the company has on the balance sheet? And it takes 1 second. I mean, if you're investing your money, your hard-earned money, in 3 months, all I'm saying is 1 minute, just go to a website called screener.in or Morningstar and just look at the balance sheet. We used to take out printouts of hundreds of pages and analyze everything. Now it's available there on a click of a button. At least see whether the company is carrying debt, whether the company is increasing debt. That will tell you the kind of health the company is now.
Sorry, what's the name of the website you mentioned?
Screener.in.
Screener. And SCREENER.IN. So what it does, and I am not even related to this company in any. I'm not advertising. I'm not soliciting. Nothing. It's a beautiful website. It gives you real-time updations on different ratios of the company by encrypting the balance sheet into digital format. So you get to know about the financials in a second.
Second. Coolio. Excellent, as usual. By now, we have raised the bar. People are saying best podcast. See what he's done to us. Already, it's
Yes.
looking positive. Let's do the next one. Can we do more? Yeah, we can.
Yep. Okay. This one comes in from Janil Bain. He says, "Should I invest in F and O even though I have a full time job? And is technical analysis enough?"
No, so FNO is for people who live stock markets. FNO stands for future and options, and it's very risky. I mean, if you have your job and you are happy with your job, then don't invest in FNO. But if you want to invest in FNO, then quit your job and make this a full-time job, and then do FNO, then do technical analysis, then do everything you wish to. But as long as you have a job to look after, do not invest into all these kind of things, because the problem with FNO is that it will get your capital to zero, and your idea of creating wealth will fail tremendously. Your idea has always to be to protect your capital. As long as your capital is protected, you will multiply it. But suppose if you lose your capital completely, you multiply any growth with zero, the answer is zero. So FNO has the ability to completely wipe off your capital, because there's a lot of leverage involved.
Yeah, I
Either
think,
you quit your job and do it full time, otherwise don't do it.
see, these are very few people have that window. I think where they are good at investments or they feel they're good at investments. We spoke about people feeling insecure and all that. There are also those who have done well. And then when you taste that victory sort of thing and you want to do it more and more and more, then you decide, I think you want to cross into the FNO space and be like a professional in a sense. So what you're saying is then how do you know you're good enough? Or how do you, is there a way to know that, this is for me?
Yeah.
Really?
So there's a way to know about it. Start capturing your data. I mean, you might be thinking that you are very good in your mind, but the data says otherwise. Or you might be very bad in your mind, but the data says something else. So start capturing your data. End of the day, how much money are you making? Do it for 12, 16, 18 months. If you are able to make more money than what you are making in your current job, that means you're good at something. Make it a profession, make it a skill, learn about it, then go full throttle. Don't have your 2 feet in two different जैसे कहते हैं ना दो
Correct.
नाव में मत रखो पैर. Don't do that. It's
That
very
is
risky.
that is the problem. This putting the feet in both sides because you're not committing to either properly and then getting drained
Yes,
from both sides slowly. So I think,
yes.
Janelle, this question you have to answer yourself actually about where your heart really is. Let's take one more. What a
Sure. What?
refreshing set of
Sure.
answers for a change. Yeah.
This last one comes from Harvesh Kasad. He says, "Hello, Rachit. Was it a difficult or an easy decision for you to come out of your family business and do something that you love?"
He didn't come out of the family business. He just set it on autopilot, as he said. Right? It's still there.
Yes. So I never quit my family business. Even right now, if somebody has to, contact the promoter of CHC Logistics, which is the name of my family business, my name comes up. That was the only source of bread and butter. As I said, bread and butter, and safeguarding that amount was very important for me, because there are certain lifestyle expenditures that your family incurs even if you're not working. So I had to take care of that first. I did not quit. I simply put it on autopilot. When I say autopilot, I outsourced most of my business to consultants. I made the KRAs and KPIs to them, so that tomorrow, if they are not performing well, at least I can deduct their bills, deduct their invoices, still be at a win-win situation for myself. So they are doing a fab job. In fact, even that company is growing significantly. We are still expanding our distribution network. But yes, I came out of the family business in a sense. Now 96 to 97% of my time is devoted into what I doing. I mean, into doing something that I love. So once you have taken care, your family itself will be very supportive of you, because they understand that you have a vision, you have a plan. That's how when Cyrus introduced me, I told him that initial 5 years I invested dedicatedly in getting logistics on autopilot. they could see it. Your family will see your dedication. They will actually, you will be surprised that they will be the one who would stand beside you saying, I completely support you. You do what you love because you've already dedicatedly given your 5 years to making something on autopilot. So, I mean, do that and then, do whatever you love doing.
I think also Harvesh, it's the way Rachit has lived his life, if I may say, from perspective of a neutral person, that he doesn't think of anything as an obstacle. He's just taken the family business, figured out a way for it to survive, and yet respect the business and continue with his own life and what he's really good at, etc. So I think that's just a reflection of how you are and how you've answered everything, which is that there's a way out of everything in a positive way. If you keep your mindset and your a certain energy in your mind that you're going to get a successful result, you'll end up getting it.
And I think without family support, you cannot achieve anything. And believe you me, I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. Trust me, without family support, you will not be able to achieve greater heights. I mean, the family has to be continuously backing you because there will be multiple breakdowns. Now, breakthrough will come from that breakdown only when the family supports you. If the family thinks you are wrong, your belief system gets so negative that even you start doubting yourself. So, ensure before you do anything, your family is aligned with you. And also, listen to everybody, but do what your heart says. In my family, I'm very popular. That Rachit is going to do whatever he wants, but he will never say no to us. So, have that kind of, you know, that kind of bond with your family. That end of the
Silvery,
day, they know that he's not going to listen to us any which way, but still might as well tell him.
correct. Silvery, I'm thinking maybe we have to rent out a family.
Yeah.
Rachit's story is very different. We have to find some
Yeah.
other story. I was thinking
Get auditions. Yeah.
for someone like Rahul Gandhi, maybe sometimes the family may be too much also. Maybe getting out would have been a better idea. But anyway, listen, this has been a great podcast, Rachit. Honestly, this has been really eye-opening. I think we've got lots of positive comments about you because I think you're just a genuinely positive guy. You're like a ray of sunshine, literally. And thinking that in the pandemic, that's why I told you the Francis Drake story. You reminded me of that, that kind of which the British had for some time, that kind of invincibility without being arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. It's a pandemic. We can still come out shining. You can still float. The boat will still go. The train will still run. And I think we've learned a lot from you today. It's been fantastic, really.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
come
you,
back
Cyrus,
and
for your kind
spread the cheer.
words. Thank
Yeah.
you.
What do you
Thank you
say,
so much,
Silvery?
Cyrus, for your kind words.
Sorry, Cyrus,
We,
what do you say?
I'm saying, should we push for Padma Bhushan at least? Kam se kam?
Yeah, at the very least. I think
Yeah.
a Mahavir Chakra, even though he's not in the military, just give him a
Yeah.
Mahavir Chakra for bravery and telling
You
us what we need to
yeah.
do.
He's just a great sense of leadership without ever pressing that he's a leader. It's a very rare space. Maybe it is because of Warren Buffett, but I think it's just who he really is. Anyway, let's stop praising you and making you feel embarrassed. We'll praise you after you go. It'll be easier. Thank you, Rachit,
Thank
so much,
you.
Thank
and
you.
see you soon.
Thank you so
Bye,
much for this
everybody.
opportunity. It was pleasure. Thank you.